Alright, I've already installed the shear plates over there on that side. And the original ones didn't quite work out. From the template, for some reason, it just didn't fit right. Couldn't explain why. So I was able to use part of it, the big, larger valve section, but can't really see much here. That it's just a terrible, terrible fit. Like, it comes out too far, so I don't really know what happened there. Whether this is too wide, this is not wide enough, I don't know. So what I ended up doing is clamping down the valve pieces just the way they were, and I had some extra wood left over from an old bookcase that I tore down, and I made new ones. So everything fit perfect. So the only thing it's leaving me with is a 1/4 inch gap on either side up here on this plate. Depending on how I cut the top piece, you'll never see it, but I'm going to make a trim panel for that anyway, in some form or another. So I'm going to go ahead and get this. I've already drilled and countersunk everything. I've test fitted it. Now it's time to put some glue on it. And I cut it a little big, so that way I could block plan. There's some few events that came up to where I missed out on recording skinning of the boat. Not just missing out on it, but I needed some help, and they're not too keen on being on this side of the camera. So this boat is technically 7 foot 6 inches, I think, is what the official bottom piece is, but that's with this plate. So when I skin it with an 8 foot piece, it comes up short. It's actually supposed to come up shorter than, according to the plans, come up shorter than what it did. But I think it's because I have an angle wrong down there for the shear plate, the shear bow shear piece. And so anyways, the way this thing goes is it calls for putting a piece of 1/4 inch right here. You can probably see right here the difference. I've already done this side where I put a piece on the inside, clamped it, glued it in the whole nine. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim this glue off. I'm just going to put it on there. Ain't gotta be a lot. Fill this stuff in right here. fill that in. Clamped in, good to go. Once it dries, actually won't take that long to dry, it'll all get cut to fit. I'll take the jigsaw, rough cut it. So I gotta rough cut this side a little bit. Take this plane. Nice and smooth. This one will dry, we'll rough cut that and do that. Now that the glue is dried, you can go ahead and I'm going to take the jigsaw. I'm going to rough cut it pretty close. Get it ready for block sand, or cutting it down with the block plane. And as you can see, there's a bunch of glue oozed out on this side. Didn't sand it off. Now I'm getting to the part of the project that's really, honestly, it's not my favorite part. Basically, it's the nitty-gritty stuff. There's not a lot left to finishing the actual woodworking part of this boat. So I'm just going to start from the back and work my way forward. I've already added in little trim pieces, which I showed on the back to get this all nice and fared down. Be doing some hand sanding and filling in probably with some wood pulp and a little bit of epoxy. And I have to put call them motor well stringers. I had to cut down, which I'm going to use them out of this. It says I was supposed to cut them down out of some kind of piece, but I didn't get that piece. It's not, the plans aren't real specific. In the pictures and in mentioning of putting the decking on, it mentions a bow batten. But it doesn't say anywhere in the plans as to the shape or size of it. So what I'm going to do is, I had this spare 1x4 in my garage. It's been in there for God knows how long. It already actually has a little bit of a crown to it from sitting there and drying out. So I'm going to put that on the bow, so that way I shouldn't have to do too much planing and fairing with the block plane. And the way it calls for it in plans is to notch out the number 3 frame, but it's going to get hidden in the end, which I'm very thankful for. And it only calls for half notches on the transom and the number 2 frame for the motor well stringers, aka deck battens. And then the way it calls in the plans for a seat, let's see here. I'm not really keen on, just because I don't like it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Right here, you can see it wants me to attach this little piece of wood going from frame 1 to frame 2. And then it has this support piece right in the middle. And I don't want to do that, because what I'd like to have some kind of storage in the boat to where I can put even though it doesn't require it in a boat of this size. Well, it does require the only thing it really requires of this size is a fire extinguisher. So, the fire extinguisher is going to get stored under the seat, and I'm also it's gonna have room for like a flotation device to keep on hand, and it's going to also give me some areas to add little hiding places and stuff, and for a little bit of foam in case anything should ever happen in its sink. Aside from being hit by a really big boat, it's pretty slim. Now that one's done, I'll do the other one. Now we can, with them fitted, put a little glue. There you go, we got some motor stringers. And we're going to go ahead and mount the one up front.